Will Uber issue a public statement on Sully since they filmed a commercial with him? So this is pretty shocking, folks, but I want you to see this. I don't believe we're going to have any audio on it, but I just want you to watch the commercial because this is true. So as you can see here, I'm not making this up. This is actually real. He's talking about how he's a skater. You see him on the ice, and then you see him in the car with his friends, and he's promoting this particular company. So this is a guy who got a lot of mainstream attention, okay? Olympiad and, mainstream television commercials. And we're going to get back to him in a minute, even more, because I'm just shocked by all this, honestly. So here's another comment that, again, the 888 kind of made me, want to grab it. Everybody saw this. It said 37,000 retweets, 52,000 likes. Breaking. This particular company's Jade S. penetrating the Capitol with a member of ... cheering, "We did it," and then asking her conspirator if he was filming. He said he would delete it, and he lied. Well, thanks a lot. And they were all in on it. So, and then you're seeing, I'm showing you a slide of the video where you can see that here they are walking right through the middle of the building, and they're all excited about it. And he said, "Oh, I couldn't tell you anything. I couldn't tell you about this, but yeah, we knew this was going to happen." Something like that. And then here's another shot of him, as he's panning around, and they broke in. So why not take this guy who's got the Uber commercial and he's an Olympiad, and then bring him on CNN, just put him up there with Anderson and get them all talking. So here's the thing. And you can see right here, the breaking news: USC secured, woman dead after Rs stormed halls of C to try to block ... win. So one of the ways that you can tell if people are lying is that they look up like this in the middle of while they're talking, because it has to do with, like if you study neurolinguistic programming, and I only know a little bit about it. I've never really studied it. I knew a couple people who learned about it, and they told me a few things. But one of the things I remember them telling me is that you will look at different parts of the sky or the area around you, depending on what part of your brain you're using. So if you look to the left, it means one thing. If you look to the right, it means another thing. But when you look straight up, that's one of the most dead giveaways that you're lying. It's very commonly known. You talk to any forensic analyst, any interrogator, they all say this. So let's count how many times Sully blinks in a 4-minute spot on this particular network. Here we go. Blink number 1 comes at 18 seconds in. Wah, wah, there he goes. He's trying to get it all together. He's got to keep all those lies straight in his head. Blink number 2 happens at 30 seconds, and notice the time here. And by the way, look at also Anderson's face, because it never really changes. Anderson keeps the same face the whole time. There he's got his eyes closed. Blink number 2 is at 30 seconds. There he is looking up again, and Anderson's got the same face. Blink number 3 is at 47 seconds, and there he is looking up again, and Anderson's got the same face. He's trying to keep the story straight. Blink number 4, 1 minute and 58 seconds. There he is looking up yet again. Anderson's got the same face. And then last but not least, here is blink number 5 at 3 minutes and 8 seconds. And he is looking straight up. And so now we're going to get to the incriminating texts from Sully that appeared on a discussion group called Discord. He was not being careful about his real intention. Now remember, he's in the Uber commercial. He's a champion speed skater, and he was on CNN giving a very kind of mundane interpretation of what was happening at the Capitol, as if he wasn't involved in anything that scary or evil. He was just there to walk in and see what was going on. That's not what he was saying on Discord. Look at this. He says, the protest will happen all over the nation at everybody's state capital. So that means organized, nationwide, multi-state effort. That's very frightening. I bet in some of the more conservative states it will be a stronger presence. All of this will be happening at your state capital all over the nation. It's about to get crazy. So that's very disturbing. And then, so somebody else here that was interacting with him said, I was in the front line of the battle and know who was there personally. It was a large sum of anti-Ts. Now, supposedly, this was all T supporters, right? Well, here's somebody saying, no, and this whole narrative, by the way, is now fallen apart. It's all collapsing, that this was not being done by people that support POTUS, but exactly the opposite. So then here he says, yeah, he ended up plotting this, and it stirred up some S on the 6th. Wait, so does that mean all the T supporters were right? Okay. And then here's another one where somebody is actually giving the finger to the T supporters behind their back, and they're all laughing about it. F the cops. And then he says, hey, sorry, the signal here is being jammed, counter intel. So here he is, actually, after he'd broken inside these buildings with his T hat on. Clearly he's not a T supporter, and he says that he was doing counterintelligence. And then he photographs this, which still doesn't really show the bad stuff, and he says he's battle ready. This is on Discord. And now he's showing that he's got body armor. And then look at this. We have to show, he says at Grandolph, we have to show up in full gear tonight. And look at the full gear. Look at the full gear. He's got a very large automatic. Wait a minute. I thought you guys were against all that stuff. And then he says, ready for tomorrow. Now look at what he's got here. He's clearly got a Glock there. Glock, I'm not sure which type that is, but oh my goodness. And then he's got this big old, look at that ammo box. I mean, how many rounds are going to be in that thing? A lot. No matter how you look at it, that's a lot of ammo, right? So, and he says he's ready for tomorrow. And he puts the fist up. So this guy is ready to go out there and start shooting people. And remember, his brother said he's leading 226 others. And apparently this is where some of it was being organized. So he says, when you are a well-known organizer, you need to blend in. I had to wear a T hat and shirt. And then somebody really funny said, yeah, putting on a T hat does not make him blend in. It makes him look like a well-known activist who was attempting to instigate a narrative. Bad move. And then he says, well, it could be me and could not be me, I'm just saying. And then somebody says, yeah, but it's on your channel. And he says, no, you don't get what I'm saying, the voice. So this is another interesting thing, because it's January the 8th. This is after it happened. He's trying to say that he wasn't talking BS. I mean, everybody knows it was him. You can hear his voice. So then he's showing, again, here some useful maps for counterintelligence. And he's doing a map of the federal buildings, military, and courts in D.C. Then here he says, I'll be out for sure. F them. They can catch a bullet if they try some S. So he's clearly planning on doing something violent. So, you know, and then this person is saying, oh, at the bottom, I'm a bulk ammo dealer, if that's of any help, Jaden X. Oh, my God. You can read all this. And then he's talking about how to set up a burner phone. You can read all that on your own time. I'm not going to go through all this. And here he's saying no fascists. Insurgents USA is the name of his group. And that's what he's doing this with. He's prepared for the possibility of that maybe they themselves were going to do this, or somebody else, they were worried that it might happen to them. My goodness, right? He's tweeted all that. And then he's showing you this picture of the nationwide rally, and then at the bottom he says this. And look at, obviously they're indicating you should bring all these kinds of things. He said, I just got new intel about T-Insur. A Second Amendment rally will be staged for on January So there you go. How did he get new intel? Who is giving him this intel? Who is organizing this rally? And who is really behind it? Well, obviously we know, because he's the one doing all this stuff. And he says, LOL, this is going to be a war on this one. And then here he takes a picture of himself and actually did a video. Now, this is what's so funny. As of right now, at this exact second, this is still online. It will probably disappear very fast. So if you want to go look at this, you got to do it right now. I'm literally not kidding. Go look it up right now. Where he says, here is a full guide on how to keep yourself safe during Ps and DAs. And there's his channel. You can see the name of the channel. You can see he's got 4,000 subscribers. That's, you know, I got a lot more than that. So I guess doing Uber and being an Olympiad and being a sellout doesn't frickin' mean you're going to be popular, because this is nonsense. So there he is. You can clearly see his eyes, folks. And now he's showing you this mask, and then he's showing you how he likes the other one better, because and he's showing you all this stuff on his own channel with his own name, with his own face. This is so annoying. And he does not represent black people, folks. Everybody is so pissed off at him right now. Do not assume for a minute that he is supported by others, because I do not believe he is. Everybody is so mad about this. Now look at this. He literally has the gun there in the room. You can watch the video for however long it lasts. He goes over, he picks it up, he demonstrates it, he talks about how he's going to be carrying it. He's wearing his body armor, he's wearing his mask. Here he is again carrying it. And then, oh, by the way, since that's not enough, he's also going to have a sidearm right there. So here he's putting his sidearm into a holster. And then he also shows you that he just so happens to have a nice switchblade. This is not a guy who's going there to be peaceful. This is a guy who's going there to kill. Okay? It's very important that we see this. So isn't it hilarious that he goes on to this particular news network and acts like, oh, he was just a peaceful protester, not thinking anybody would go back and watch this video? Well, guess what? We did. Now, here's another thing that happened. This was fairly recent. I think it was on Friday the 15th, where it says the CEO, Michael Lindell of MyPillow, was apparently going to have a meeting with POTUS, and he was carrying these notes in his hand before going into the West Wing on January 15th. So this is the same day that all this D-Class happened. And then it says, MyPillow CEO visits T in Oval Office carrying mysterious notes. Now look at this. We're going to see what the notes said in just a second, but notice that once they meet with each other, the article says they never talked about the contents of his letter, and they're clearly happy, and he gives him the thumbs up, and he leaves, and he's fine. Before he went in there, he's looking very, very nervous. This is one picture of him holding these papers, but the real key photograph in question is here. He did not realize anybody was photographing him, and he didn't realize that we would be able to zoom in on this piece of paper that he was holding, folks. If you haven't already seen this, and you can't just act like this is no big deal. That whatever you were planning is they're using you, buddy. And if you can't see that, I mean, go look at his arrest photo. And look at his eyes. I didn't even get a chance to put this in there. But he's like this, and that's a typical thing that has to do with hypnosis. When people are hypnotized and when they go into that state where they will listen to commands, that's exactly what it looks like. Go look at his inmate photo, and then also notice all the sixes in the photo. There's lots of sixes in that photo. So, we'll forgive you, buddy, just like we will with anybody. I mean, we're going to, the scope and the massiveness of the criminality that we're going to be learning about is so high that we need people to come forward who are deeply involved. And we need to give them a chance to actually earn their freedom, or at least to earn clemency and a much reduced sentence. So I hope for Sully's sake that he can do that he's willing to tell us the truth. Because honestly, if you watch the interview that he did with Anderson Vanderbilt, he clearly is saying that, you know, there were police officers who were fearing for their lives. They were crying, and he was telling people, I don't want you to get hurt. So whoever trained him did not get him enough kills, apparently, or maybe not any kills, because he didn't have the stomach for it. And I don't want there to be people who do, but I do think it's interesting that even somebody that far involved, who they've given him his own commercials, they've given him probably lots of money, and all this support and logistics, and I don't think he paid for those tools he's got himself, obviously. This needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about. How the hell did he end up on this news network, and that the woman he was with has been a correspondent for them before? And we're supposed to believe there's no connection? And we're supposed to think about what happens in 10 days, 1 year, 5 years, when this kind of stuff is going on right now. It's irreversible. There's no turning back. They are caught red-handed, and it's unbelievable. And something is going to happen.